Good morning, Dubai. Happy Sunday. How are you doing? Welcome back to the Love in Dubai Daily Live, where we talk about the big trending stories. It's Sunday morning. I'd love to know where you're all watching from because, of course, COVID-19 coronavirus has been taking over the airways, has been clogging up probably your feeds online. There's a lot of information going around. So this morning we kind of want to talk about the facts, talk about the new information that came in over the weekend. There's a lot of closures. Which might be a little bit shocking to people. There's a lot of kind of tourist attractions that are closing. I think they announced that nightlife venues are shutting. However, this is all precautionary and it's all happening for 2 weeks. I think is all as a precautionary measure. The good news that we're going to bring you is that for the first time, yesterday it was announced, there was more recoveries than new cases announced in the UAE, which I think is testament to the fantastic healthcare system. But it also, I think, will bring us all a little bit of reassurance in these kind of unknown times. But the biggest story that broke yesterday, which we'll jump right into, is yesterday, COVID-19, UAE suspends all new entry visas. So the UAE announced a ban on all new entry visas, basically all visas to all foreigners, with effect from March 17, which is Tuesday, I think. Exceptions will only be made for diplomatic visa holders. The announcement was made by the Federal Authority for Identity and Citizenship in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19, and it was shared via WAM, which is the government news source. So if you have a visa issued before March 17, the decision does not apply to you. And this went live yesterday. It's a massive decision taken by the government, but I think in these times, because basically it went live yesterday, there's a lot of questions. A lot of people are unsure if it will affect them. But I think in these times, you kind of need to applaud governments who take the big decisions and basically kind of curb tourism when it's done for the greater good. So if you look at kind of some of the comments that went on our post yesterday, people are saying, what about kids in universities? What about families? A lot of people are questioning, families visiting. I was speaking to Chai this morning, and what was your question?
My brother's about to leave in a couple of weeks. Like, can he go back?
So Chai saying his brother is leaving. Does he have an entry visa, or does he have a visa?
He's on a visit visa.
Okay. So I would assume he's able to leave, but getting back in will be unsure.
Because he's also trying to think about retaining it. Like, his initial thing was to leave, stay a week, and then come back. But like, we're trying to figure out how that's going to work.
It's unlikely, and I think it all depends. So another thing that the report mentioned was it all will depend on the country of departure. So, because this was announced yesterday, we're still waiting for more information. So a lot of your questions, you can always put them to the authorities directly. And I assume eventually the questions will be answered, but it will depend on the country of departure if they have the sufficient medical kind of testing devices, which will be rolled out eventually, then getting into the UAE will be easier. But right now, effective from March 17th, all new entry visas have been temporarily suspended. So I think that's worth noting. We'll move on. And if you have any questions, please drop them into the live. We'll either try and look at them during the live or get to them after. Our information comes directly from Ministry of Health and Prevention, Dubai Health Authorities, and we're very kind of only trying to report exactly what they say word for word. We're not believing what we see on WhatsApp groups, and I urge you to do the same. And that's also one thing that the Ministry of Health and Prevention is constantly reminding people, because there's so much misinformation being spread that we're just trying to stick to the facts. Moving on to the next story, a little bit of good news, I think. So the number of recoveries has reached 23, with one new confirmed coronavirus case. So yesterday evening, the Ministry of Health and Prevention announced 3 confirmed COVID-19 recoveries in the UAE, along with one new case. So this brings the total number of recoveries to 23. The MOHAP made the announcement on Saturday night, and they added that it was 2 Emiratis and 1 Indian patient who had recovered. They are now symptom-free, which is absolutely fantastic after receiving the best medical care. The ministry also announced 1 more confirmed case. This was an Indian national who had returned to the UAE after annual leave, who has tested positive. In this case, and in a statement that they added, that they said that anyone who had come into contact with the new case has also been tested, and these people have tested negatively for the virus. The UAE is taking all necessary measures to curb the spread of the virus in line with the World Health Organization standards, which is fantastic. And residents are just constantly reminded to wash your hands regularly with soap and water, avoid contact with people who show respiratory illness, and just to avoid circulating rumours through social media, which I'm sure you've seen some. Just avoid WhatsApp groups, avoid Facebook groups, which you're not completely sure of. Another thing I saw over the weekend was the ministry is advising the elderly to stay indoors, which is just kind of advice. I think we all know that the rate of actually contracting the disease, I think 80% of us, it will be mild, so we're more likely to be spreaders, but it's the older generations who are more likely to be affected by it, I think. I think.
My dad to stay at home.
Yeah, Chai saying he told us. I told my mum to stay at home. Like, I was meant to go to a work event with her yesterday, and I just asked her. It was in Mall of the Emirates, and of course, like, we're all fine. Like, it was there was obviously a lot of people there, but it was just my mum, who was over 70, so she's in that kind of questionable age bracket. I just wanted her to just stay put, stay indoors.
No, my dad's about 67.
Yeah.
Just stay home.
Is your dad in the UAE or abroad?
He is right here. He works right here, but like because his work, he has to leave. And my mom's flown down a couple of days back, and I'm like, just stay at home. Like, not the right